You're listening to Mark of the Maker. Hey everybody, I'm Mark Steiner and you're listening to Mark of the Maker, and we're going to kick you a little Minisode here. We haven't done one of these in a minute, and I have Mr. Tom Crine with me. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing good, Mark. I had a good time down at the ice show.
Yeah. So we figured we'd do a little Minisode. Tom was the one of us that went down to the ICCE show in Fort Worth. Let me see if I can get this right, Tom. International Custom Cutlery Exhibition. Does that sound like it?
That's it.
ICCE. So Tom went down there. I think first one of us to go to a show in a long time, probably, right?
It was nice.
Yeah. So Tom wanted to share a little info about his experience and kind of how it went. And it's the first show for a lot of people in a long time with the whole COVID thing going on. So
right.
So yeah, there's some history to the show, right, Tom? This wasn't like, it's not a new thing. Right. I think some people think of it that way because it sort of changed hands, or the folks that run it changed hands. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about the history?
Yeah. So this was the Guild show that was up in Kansas City for quite a while, and they moved it to Fort Worth 2 years ago, and that was the first time, from what I understand, it was in Fort Worth. Down at the Stockyards, which is a really neat place. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But then last year with COVID, there was no shows anywhere.
Right. So
it didn't happen. And then this year, Blade actually purchased it from, I don't know who owned it. I don't know if, I think it was a Guild show, but I don't know who owned it. Maybe the Guild was in charge of it, but Blade owns it now. And anyways, Alicia and her crew put it on. It was really ran smooth. It was a nice show for us because we could drive. It's literally only like 5 hours south, which is pretty cool. And for the people flying in, it's a nice air hub to fly into, Dallas Fort Worth. So yeah, flights were cheap. And I think one of the reasons this is probably so successful this year was, like you said, it was the first show in a very long time, and I think people were just ready to get out and see each other. And at least for me, when I heard about it, I was like, sign me up. So, but we had a great time. I look forward to Blade show. If it's going to be similar to this, I think.
So this show, it wasn't just a knife show, right? Like, so this is a knife show, but then like cowboy stuff too.
Yeah.
Did you check any of that stuff out?
I did a little bit, not as much as I probably should have, but there were some holster makers there that were pretty cool, and I grabbed some cards, and I'm actually thinking about ordering some. There was a guy making holsters, and I couldn't find his card, but I'm gonna look him up. They had like Indian blanket. They were leather with Indian blanket inlays. They were really cool.
Oh, that sounds cool.
There are several engravers there that do a lot of like cowboy type engraving, like buckles and stuff like that. And then there was a couple guys that like spur makers and stuff like that. So it was a pretty neat show as far as that goes. It was a really cool mix of ABS and Guild. And then I don't know what you call, like I do, tactical or custom. I don't know where I fall in that, but
yeah, what do they call it? A Blade show, handmade knives or something?
Yeah. Something like that. So yeah, cool, really cool mix.
So the Stockyards is an interesting spot to do the show. I traveled to Fort Worth. Have you ever been there? Yeah, I've been there through work. We actually did some customer clinic education kind of stuff there, where we went there and then went to some companies and a couple of suppliers and took a big fleet of cars and had them drive the cars and answer questions and that kind of stuff. So kind of a teach some GM people and some supplier people a little more about the products that they support. So that was really fun. And so we had dinner a couple nights, I guess, at the Stockyards. Yeah, neat spot.
Well, yeah, and I really liked this place. And, there was 3 or 4 hotels you could get the show discount at. And we stayed at the hill, something sweets. Anyways, it was about three blocks away, and there was a lot of guys staying there, and it was nice because you could walk. And when you walked to the show, you walked right through the stockyards, right?
Yeah.
And that is a different place. There was a rodeo going on, so there was a lot of like, well, I mean, what you would expect, cowboy people dressed in cowboy gear, and it's not cowboy gear like I think. It was like $1,000 boot cowboy stuff,
right?
$800 pants. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then at night we would eat a lot of good restaurants and really good barbecue, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But it's all on the strip, and there's people cruising and just shopping, and it's really, really cool place. There's a river walk down below. I don't know. I thought it was a cool place with good ambience.
Yeah, I enjoyed hanging out there. So there was like a big building, like a exhibition building kind of place that this was all inside of. Is that?
So it was actually 2 rooms, and it was back. It wasn't actually in like one of the big buildings. It was back. If you walk down, if you're walking east on the main drag there, it's on the right hand side. So it's actually where they used to keep the cattle and stuff before they would run them across.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it was really cool. Two rooms side by side, and it was all like brick pavers, which was kind of rough on the back after the end of the day, but really cool place. Some of the food was, I love food, and anytime I go to a show, that's kind of the stuff that I kind of try to spot and find. And we, the first night we were there, we ate at this place called Risky's, and it's a barbecue place. Yeah. And they did something. I could have just eaten their apps, right? So that's probably what I'll do if I ever go back. They have an app, and it's basically cubed brisket that's battered and deep fried.
Oh, good Lord.
And it comes with a sauce that you dip it in. Dude, it was amazing. It literally melted in your mouth. It was so good. And then they had the one of the other apps we got was just burnt ends. So you could just order burnt ends.
Yeah, burnt ends is a fantastic app.
So those 2 things, I could live on those for a few days probably.
Yeah. We make pork belly burnt ends during football season and snack on those for football food. But man, they are.
You should do some battered and deep fried brisket. I never had anything like it. It was pretty good. And it was awesome. We're sitting down with friends and sharing a meal. It's like old times, right?
Yeah.
The steakhouses were crazy. It'd be like 7 or 8 o'clock, and you'd try to go, and it'd be a 3-hour wait.
Yeah, I bet.
We found a new restaurant that we went to called Provender Hall, and it was amazing. I would highly recommend it if anyone goes there. The food was spot on. The apps were really good. They like pimento cheese, like as an app, and deviled eggs. Yeah, I got steak frites. It was perfect.
Nice.
Baby okra, all that stuff. So yeah, if you like food, there was some really good food there.
Yeah, we ate good when we did this work thing at the stockyards for sure.
Yeah. So the show. Let's talk about the show.
Yeah. So how big was it, Tom? So 2 rooms, but I'm not getting a good feel for.
So both rooms combined were probably about the size of the small room at Blade, maybe a little less. I think maybe 100 to 150 exhibitors.
Like the new room.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they called the new room. Okay.
Yeah, the smaller room. It wasn't a really big show. And that sometimes that's kind of nice too. I'd guess it's about the size of the Gathering, a little smaller.
I was just going to guess. So about the size of the Vegas show.
Maybe like the 2nd or 3rd, 4th year, somewhere there. It seems like it's gotten bigger every year too. But
yeah. So
it's a nice size. You could get around. There are suppliers there.
How many exhibitors you think? I mean, you just got to guess, right? But
yeah, maybe 100, 150.
Okay.
That information is probably out there, but I didn't actually pay attention. It was a nice size, really good traffic through. And once again, I think I don't know what this show normally is like. I wouldn't guess it's normally as good as it was just because, it's that first show since it opened. And I think that's going to work for it because people had people went that probably wouldn't normally go and had a great time.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe this will become a good show for Blade. I know next year they're planning on moving it. It's going to be they're moving it about 8 miles to the convention center in downtown. So everybody will be in one room, and I think there's one hotel that'll fit everyone.
Okay.
So, for better or worse, you'll miss the cool stockyard ambience, but I think the show actual room will have much better lighting because the lighting was really poor.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say from the pictures it looked a little dim.
Yeah, it was the lighting was poor, and the floor was that cobblestone and it sloped, so it was kind of rough that way if you're walking on it. So I think it's going to be better next year in the convention center. And, it's not that far. We can just drive down to the stockyards if we want to go there, or we can find new places down by the convention center. I'm sure it's got good restaurants too.
Right. Take an Uber, whatever. Lots of ways to make that work. Yep. So sales were good. I mean, I assume I heard from some of the other makers that were there that stuff moved really nice. Maybe, like you said, probably largely because of the traffic, but folks are a little pent up on the whole knife thing.
Yeah, I think people were ready to get out and buy. Interesting thing, Ben went with me, so he set up at my table and he brought some pretty cool worry stones. And I've never had people line up that I know of to get in and get to my table, and he had people lined up at midnight. They started lining up to get into the table. So
oh wow,
when the doors opened, he was about 20 deep and just instantly sold out, which was kind of cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, once he sold out, then people could, maybe be interested in some knives or something, Yeah, I mean, you want to be happy for them, but you want to sell your stuff too. No, I'm just kidding. It was awesome.
It was very nice of him to take you along, Tom.
Right. Share the table with me.
Let you set up at his table? Yeah, that's really sweet of him.
Yeah, it was really good to see, though.
Yeah, so, very cool.
I had a good show. We sold a lot of knives. The open bid was insane. And then, Saturday we got to walk around, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Friday we picked up materials. So one of the things that I've really missed with shows was, that's where I like to look at natural materials and actually sort through and pick what I want. Right. So we hit up Charles Turnage. We picked, I don't know, both of us, we probably got $2,000 or $3,000 worth of mammoth.
Yeah. He's got pretty stuff. You just got to get there at the right time.
Dude, it was awesome. He had the big cases, the Pelican cases, and they were just open. And they were huge.
Yeah.
So we sorted through. Ben had a good time doing that. Got some really nice mammoth. I got some nice mammoth. What else did I get at the show? Rick Dunkerley, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Had a really nice coffee table book. I picked that up for the library.
Oh, that's cool.
Anytime anybody does that, I want to support it. And anytime I can add a book to the library, it's kind of cool.
Heck yeah.
Picked up some stuff from Chad. I got a big piece of Raindrop and a piece of Kenobi tie. And then I picked up some stag, which I haven't been able to find nice stag in quite a while. And Culpepper had some, red stag, and it was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Wasn't cheap. I mean, it was 100 plus a set, probably closer. Some of it was 130, 140. But I picked up 4 pieces, and then I called them back, and I ordered another 13 pieces. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
So I got some nice stag at the show and got hooked up with some more, and then the mammoth and the materials in the book. And then, do you know who Bassinelli is?
Yeah.
I love his work. He's such a good dude. And so me and Ben both picked up a little karambit from him.
Oh, very cool.
It was funny. His family was there. His daughter was there. She had an AC/DC shirt on, and I was like, "Do you listen to AC/DC?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's like her religion." I can get behind that.
Nice.
It was awesome. So, yeah, I mean, really good show. And then, like I said, a really cool mix of makers. So, in the other room, there was a lot of ABS guys. And so, Saturday, when we walked through, me and Ben walked through together, and I stopped at Jerry Fisk and talked with him for 10, 15 minutes and just went down the row. And there was a lot of really nice slip joint makers and ABS guys. And they were basically available to talk to. So it was really awesome. Showed him a lot of different makers work. It's interesting for, having been there, he's getting into all this. And right now, vintage micarta is a thing, right?
Yeah. Very hot.
And everybody's searching for it. And it was kind of cool because we went and talked with Jerry Fisk, and he's into historical vintage stuff, not micarta, which was cool because basically he did a Custer, this Bowie, and it was like a Custer Bowie, and it had like tree from the wood from a tree from the Custer family farm, and it's all documented. And then the tree that Grant gave Custer the orders, there was wood from that, and just stuff like that. And we were talking to him, and really, he's a really interesting guy. They just purchased the historic Black family farm. So that's who made the first Bowie.
Ah, okay.
And it's all grown up. That's the only, there's nothing been on it since then. And they've been out with metal detectors, and they found like where his shop was, and they found like nails that he probably made, and
oh wow,
a silver escutcheon plate off of one of the knives that he probably made and just, lost, like we drop a screw or whatever. Really kind of neat.
Yeah, that's real cool.
He was telling us how he buys documented wood that's historical, and he incorporates it into his knives. So I think that kind of blew Ben away a little bit because, he's super into the vintage micarta and hunt for it. And it's like just a next level type hunt for something,
Yeah, for sure. That'd be really cool for his Worrystone stuff to get some historical things to make those out of. Right? That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah. Jerry was telling me he's buying stuff from like Sotheby's,
Oh wow.
Like wood from these trees and stuff it's documented, and it's going through Sotheby's. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
So Friday you did your sales stuff. Friday night you went, bought materials, had a nice dinner. Saturday you guys take off. So you trolled around, paid some respects, had a little conversation. And you guys head back Sunday?
Yeah. So we spent the night, and then the next day we just slept in and got up, headed home.
Yeah. Nice.
It was a nice little trip. Nice to get out of the shop. Texas is an interesting place right now. It's basically open. So, no mask mandates. The mayor of Fort Worth came down to the show and, kind of addressed everyone and basically said, isn't it nice that we don't have to wear the masks? Which it was, that's one of the things that was so nice about that show was that you could wear a mask if you wanted to, but you didn't have to.
Yeah. That's kind of the elephant in the room with this whole thing, right? It's like, okay,
yeah,
we've been shut down hard for more than a year at this point, and somehow the whole thing becomes politicized and whatever. We're not going to go there, but
nope.
The fact that it's a show and there's a whole bunch of people face to face hanging out doing their thing, which I think everybody looks forward to, right? Everybody misses that, right? So many of us did that multiple times a year, and it's like, oh man, it's really weird to not be doing that multiple times a year.
And I talked to people that didn't go, and I know that some people didn't go because of that, and it made them nervous. And I do understand that. I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not pro mask or against mask. Do what you feel is safe, right?
Yeah.
I will say that one thing all this has made me think of is, and I think a lot of people, they're washing their hands like they should and using hand sanitizer, but especially for me, it's made me think that I don't touch my face anymore, which is
right.
Probably a good thing. It's something I've been very conscious about recently.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said, it's the elephant in the room. The good thing is I've asked around, and I know of only one case of COVID after the show from people that went.
Yeah.
I've not talked to everyone, so I don't know that that's it. But that person also
Did some
stayed
other
in
stuff.
Dallas for a few more days and was out doing other stuff. So,
Yep.
I think one of the good things from all this, Mark, and it's something that in the past I've been guilty of. We go to work when we're sick. We go out when we're sick because, you got to live life, and it wasn't anything like this. And now I think if you're sick, you do the right thing. You stay home, which in nursing, if you're sick, you're supposed to stay home. A lot of people couldn't afford to stay home, and they wouldn't. They'd still go to work if you're sick, whatever, unless you're, really sick. But
yeah,
now the nice thing is if you're sick, most people do the right thing and they just stay home. So I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting to think about what all of this last year plus has done with people. Like you said, I think most people are probably much better at basic personal hygiene, right?
Which is not a bad thing.
Right. That's not a bad thing. I saw some stuff that suggested there were markedly fewer regular flu cases this past winter. And, probably for a whole bunch of reasons, right?
Yeah.
One, people are masked up when they're out. Two, tons of people are working from home. I'm still not back to work. I still 100% from home for a year, right? So, where am I going to get the flu from? Improve personal hygiene. There's a whole bunch of reasons. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting here as the rest of the year unfolds. Some parts of the country are doing great, apparently, right, with very low case rates and on the decline. Other parts of the country, like where I live, not so great, right?
Right now,
Michigan's a little ugly
Yeah.
in a big surge, right? There's some hospitals that are at capacity and other stuff. So I think everybody just kind of has to make their own decision. And so it'll be interesting to see how overall the show thing ramps up.
One of the nice things I saw at the show, and I think our community is a pretty understanding community. I think it's weird. We're a bunch of dudes for the most part, but we're pretty mellow. But one of the nice things was there was people wearing masks, and they didn't catch any crap. That it was like the most people weren't wearing a mask, but if you wore a mask, it's cool. There was nothing. No negative connotation, basically, is what I'm saying, which I think is how it should be. If you want to wear a mask, wear it,
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we had a great time, Mark. It was a good show. It was so good seeing everyone. Sharing a few meals with some people and just overall, reconnecting.
Yeah.
With having a little normalcy.
No, I bet. We all crave that, right? I think any opportunity we have to be comfortable enough to go have that kind of experience again, I think we all look forward to it, right? I think it's just going to take people different amounts of time to be ready to do that. Some of it related to vaccine stuff, some of it related to confidence in what's going on, right? We talked a lot about the uncertainty that COVID has added to everything, right? And some people are still very concerned about traveling, certainly air travel and other stuff, right? So I get it. You can't help but sympathize with that, as far as I'm concerned anyway. And, people, like you said, when they're ready, and we'll see how
I think one of the things that helped, honestly, Mark, I think so many people have gotten vaccinated and so many people have had COVID. A lot of scientists are saying we're getting close to having herd immunity, if we don't already in April. And that was the end of March. So I think that played into it, honestly,
Maybe so.
But, yeah, a lot of variables. Hopefully people feel, do what you feel safe doing.
Yeah.
But I really think this show has legs. I think that the fact that so many people came that probably wouldn't have normally came and had a good time, I think that'll help people when they look at next year.
Yeah, that's always a huge factor, right? When you're kind of sitting there looking at the year, like in my case, right? I don't have a specific show schedule for business reasons, right? For me, it's more like I get to pick and choose, right? Where do I want to go this year?
Right.
And without question, the experience you have at the show is, for me, at least as important as the show itself, right? Because it's mostly about going to see people, and great. If there's knives, super. And if there's not, okay, let's go to dinner and hang out. So
Exactly.
I think anytime people can have a positive experience around the show, during the show, especially after the show or outside the show, that's really cool stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what that move to the convention center, if that makes it a little different or less cool to people or whatever.
Right.
Because like you said, the stockyard is a pretty special area, right? It's got a unique feel to it.
Yeah. And it was, dude, it was awesome. And Alicia, I think Blade Show having it now and Alicia running it, it was smooth, you know?
Yeah.
Most shows I go to are that way, but not all are, you know? So it's nice. And everything was just lined out, and, you know, I have no doubt that it'll be that way next year.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Odds are we're going next year. It's nice. It's right at the beginning of the year. It's a nice time. If you're in Texas, it's nice and warm down there.
Right.
Most people are done with winter at that point. So the weather's usually nice down there, unless they're like caught in a blizzard and out of electricity. But that was the week before.
Yeah, right. Yeah, done with winter. Man, I hear that. It actually snowed here this morning.
What? For real?
Yeah, I sent Birch a video. It was snowing, big giant snowflakes this morning. Didn't stick, but holy cows.
That's kind of crazy.
Bummer.
It's a little chilly right now, but I planted almost all my garden today. So
nice.
Got a lot of peppers and some tomatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So so next for you is Blade, right, Tom?
Yeah, Blade is coming fast.
Man, no kidding.
It's like 2 months. Month and a half.
Yeah. Month and a half.
Like 7 weeks. Yeah, 7 weeks or so. Yeah,
it's funny. And it is soon, but I think in a normal year, it wouldn't be super soon. Maybe it would be. The run up to Blade is always kind of a big deal, but
yeah,
maybe because we've been away from shows for a while, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that makes that 6 weeks seem extra tight. I don't know.
Well, hopefully, you know, I'm working on this production run, and I'm hoping I have them for Blade Show. That would be spot on nice.
Yeah, super nice.
So we're shipping them tomorrow to get ground, and hopefully they're not too backed up and can knock them out for us.
Yeah. So for people that aren't familiar with that, Tom, what is that production project, just in a nutshell?
So basically, I'm pretty much maxed out on what I can do. And in order to kind of bring prices down and bring availability up, I'm going to start doing some production runs. And the first one we're doing is the Model 6, which is a new model that is an old design. I know that's weird, but basically this was the Tad Gear special we did maybe 15, 20 years ago.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And we upgraded it. Tad wanted to change it, so we did that. And then their management changed, and for whatever reason, we stopped doing that. So it's been a design that I haven't made in probably 10 years or so.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, I've never had a Model 6. There's no TK6 ever.
Huh.
So we upgraded the design a little bit to what we're doing now, added speed holes, lined all stuff out, and basically what we're doing is we're getting steel from Niagara when we can. We're going to try to use U.S. made steel. Of course, that's not always possible because some steel that we want to use won't be made here.
Right.
But this first batch is D2 that was made here. Niagara rolled it. Chris Dunn water jets it for us, and then we're doing the CNC work in-house because we want to control the tolerances.
Yep.
And then we're sending those out and having them ground at Larkin. They're going to heat treat and grind them and send them back. And while they're out there, we'll make the handles and get ready to start making the sheaths. And hopefully the goal is that we'll be able to move these to some dealers and do some sales for ourselves. We're going to offer a military first responder type discount all that kind of stuff. Which I can't really afford to do on my custom stuff because it's just there's not a margin there.
Yeah, not enough room.
So we're setting this up where we can, try to get some hardworking tools out to people that will appreciate them.
So when you say production, it doesn't mean you send off a design and a bunch of knives show up in a box. This is maybe a little bit more like Birch's Me Tech project.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So I've tried to work with different production companies and I've had some success. But at the end of the day, I give up a lot to these companies as far as, how they're going to be made and what materials and where. I don't want these made in China. I want them made right here in the USA. And by me doing it in the shop and having utmost control, I can get them exactly made how I want. And I think it's going to be a superior product that I can offer at a less than what I do now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, I haven't raised my prices in quite a while, so we're going to go up on my current prices a little bit, like 20% is what we're going to do. And then the production stuff's going to be 20% below what it used to be. So there's going to be a gap there because basically I'm doing too much custom stuff. There's only so much me to go around and, I can't work 60, 70 hour weeks forever.
Continue to work 60 or 70 hour weeks forever.
Yeah. So I need to cut back on that a little bit, and the way all the marketing books do say is to raise your prices a little bit. And by lowering the price on the Me Tech or small batch production, it's going to be a very similar knife, just not hand ground by me, that I control the tolerances and the specs on. And, it's going to be a really nice, hardworking knife.
Yeah. And it seems like there's room for both, right? That lets you,
I think so,
scoop a little deeper on the more affordable side, right? Where it's in reach for more people. Because even with your knives priced where they are, which in my opinion is a bargain for what you get for your customs, it's still a lot of money for people, right?
Right.
And so that lets you appeal to people that want something a little more budget friendly and still do custom stuff for people who want that piece of it. And hopefully everybody wins in the deal. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. And hopefully this is going to let me do some more stuff that I want to do, basically, instead of stuff that I have to do, which is kind of how it is now. You gotta, the bills have to be paid every month, whether what I build what I want or what I have to.
Yeah. That's the reality of the game.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a really good thing. I haven't really had time or capacity to do much folder work. I think that this can free me up to be able to do more folder work.
Yeah. Very cool, man.
I think it can be a positive thing, and I'm excited. Like I said, first time I've tried it. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well.
I hope so too. I think it will. It's not Larkin's first trip around the block, right? Not yours either. Right. So, and you guys did a bunch of homework on getting the front end of it right. So yeah, it should rock. I hope you're able to have some for Blade. I think it'd be really cool for people to see them and get them in their hands.
Yeah. Well, we're shipping tomorrow, so hopefully they can make it happen. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So Blade's next. What else what's coming after that for you?
I'll be honest. I don't know. I haven't heard a whole lot. If they have Vegas, I'll do Vegas.
Yeah.
The gathering in Vegas, and hopefully they'll do the New York show, which is in Jersey. If they do that, I'll be there.
It's always a great one.
I'll probably do Kentucky if that's an option. And that really probably rounds out my year.
Yeah. It's kind of mostly the normal schedule. You're kind of picking right back up.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Once again, it's a crazy year. It's not as crazy as last year, hopefully, but
right.
It has potential to be a little crazy, although it's starting out better.
Yeah.
And I did not do a drive-by on this show like last year at TKI. I basically drove down, did the show, and drove back for that.
Yeah.
And this show, I was like, we're showing up a day early, and we're staying after. So we had a great time.
Yeah, I bet.
Made the most of
I
it.
bet. Well, there's stuff to do there, and it's a cool place, and good to get away a little bit, especially kind of the first show back into the game, right?
You know, a few of us, like Billy Cho and Nick Rolfe, we've talked about doing a class out, shooting class. And it'd be really cool if we could, like, I haven't talked to him about this yet, but maybe after Vegas, after the USN show, stay for like a pistol class for 2 or 3 days. That would be really cool.
That would be fun.
Maybe, yeah.
Amy
Maybe
and
we'll
I,
have to try to plan that.
Amy and I got into this thing with Vegas where we go to Vegas and then either the week before or the week after we go somewhere and
Yeah.
like adventure go somewhere like Zion or Bryce or Grand Canyon or over to
It's
Yellowstone.
beautiful out there.
Yeah, there's so much to do. Lots of cool shit to go see.
I want to go to Death Valley.
Yeah, we went to Death Valley. It was the first time Amy had ever been there, and she's like, "Whoa,
I've never been.
dude, it's a trip." I used to go there a ton for work, so it got kind of old for me after a while because I'd go there every summer, a few times a summer. The time when no one wants to be there, the time when only people there are you, test car people, people that are gluttons for punishment, like people that are trying to ride through Death Valley in the middle of summer on a bicycle or something, or, you know, hike it or some crazy shit like
That's how you die, isn't
nut
it?
bulb. Yeah, exactly. Death-defying people. That's another category. And then the last category is foreign visitors. And I don't know if foreign visitors go there then because it's the ridiculously hot time of year, or maybe it's cheaper. But like we would stay at this, at the Furnace Creek Ranch down in the very bottom of Death Valley.
Yeah,
And
I researched it all.
yeah, so we would stay at the Furnace Creek Ranch when we would go, and like the only people around were people from other countries. There's like no one there spoke English but us and the people that work there. It was weird.
It's summertime. It's hot as hell, right?
Dude, it's like 120 plus. It's really, really, really hot.
Yeah, they're like, don't even drive through unless you have like 5 gallons of water in your car or some kind of craziness.
Yeah. So what do nutty car company people do? That's when we take every vehicle and strap a 10,000 pound trailer on the back
And just try to overheat it.
and find the steepest hill out of Death Valley and then go wide open throttle trying to pull it all up the hill.
It sounds fun, but
The vehicles smell like they're about to catch on fire. There's like under hood insulation trying to melt, all kinds of ugly stuff. It's a very interesting experience, but hey, it's torture test, and we make sure people can actually go do that shit.
that reminds me of another experience, that smell and everything. And I'm guessing you've been here, Mount Evans.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a lot of test cars there.
Yeah.
The smell, what reminded me of it, we borrowed my mom's minivan, a little 4-banger Chrysler, for a family vacation, and we roasted the brakes coming down out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally I had to replace the brakes, the rotors, everything when we got home
Yep.
because there's no air to cool it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to go off the edge. So
No. People
and there's
don't
no
think
compression.
about that stuff.
No
Yeah,
compression in a 4-banger. So
Yeah.
anyways, good times.
Good times. Good times.
Oh, this was fun, Mark. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got to figure out when I'm going to start doing the show thing again. I didn't do ICCE. It didn't feel like the right time just yet. For me personally,
And I don't think Sean's doing Blade this year.
I got the same impression. I think he's going to TKI, but not Blade,
Yeah.
maybe.
The week before, which
Yeah, and I think Michael's doing TKI. I got to decide about TKI. I got, a mom that's sick and stuff I could help out with sometimes. So trying to be super, super careful. And fortunately, I'm getting my second dose of the vaccine tomorrow, which is cool. Amy's all taken care of. My parents have been vaccinated. So hopefully that
should be good.
helps us feel more comfortable. Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks after vaccination, you should be good.
Yeah.
There's that 2 to 3 week window they say after, but after that, if you're vaccinated, you should be good.
Gosh, I hope so.
I would love to see you in Atlanta. Hopefully, Michael was talking about doing Blade. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know exactly what his plan is. I think he's sorting it out a little bit still. So we'll find out.
Yeah, same with some like Luke. Lucas Burnley's still trying to figure it out too. So
Yeah.
I get it.
I think everybody's got their little version of the story, right? One they got to feel comfortable with, and
Yeah, and hopefully everybody can get vaccinated that wants to get vaccinated and feel solid, and we can all meet up and spend some good time together, share some meals.
Absolutely. I think we all look forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
Hopefully we'll see you guys everyone in Atlanta.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Tom, for the chat. Interesting about this show, and I look forward to seeing what happens with it next year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go next year. I'm planning on it.
Well, especially that close. I mean, 5 hours isn't terribly close, but it beats the hell out of going some of the places you drive to.
No, it's a good show. I used to drive to the Little Rock show, and I stopped going there. I wasn't having very good success, and that was probably 10 years ago. I think it's at a new venue now, and it's probably better than it used to be by quite a bit. So maybe that's something I look at too, but I definitely am planning on going to ICE again.
Well, you could always take Ben if you really want to make sure you guarantee your success.
Right. I'm planning on he's going to take me next year. That's the plan.
Tell him you want an upgraded room. Get us a decent hotel, Ben. Come on.
I'm just going to tag along. I paid this year, and now it's actually his show. He does better, so he can pay next year.
See, if it was me and Ben was my son, I would have rode his ass about that entire way home, 5 hours straight, telling him about what kind of fancy meal he's going to have to buy me next time he takes me to the ICCE show.
Yeah. I'm not holding my breath, but, maybe I'll cross my fingers.
It's worth a shot.
Right. Awesome.
Be nice to your father, Ben.
He's not going to listen to this.
Oh, okay. I know. All right. Well, cool. Thanks to everybody for listening, and as always to our Patreon people, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
To learn more about our makers, you can find Tom Crine on the web at crineknives.net, in his Facebook group, Crine Knives, or in his Instagram account, @Crine Knives. For Michael Birch, check birchtreeblades.com, Facebook group Birch Tree Blade Works, or Michael's Instagram @BirchTreeBlades. For myself and the Raygun Bead Project, we're on the web at raygundivision.com. We have a Facebook group called Raygun Division, or my personal Instagram @msteiner. For those interested in photos, references from the show, or some discussion about the show itself, you can find us on the web at markofthemaker.com, in a Facebook group called Mark of the Maker, or on our Instagram @markofthemaker. Last but not least, the ultra cool and haunting background music we use for the show is a piece called Noir Guitar by Stevie's Amp Shack, found at the Free Music Archive and licensed under Creative Commons CC BY 4.0. Thanks for listening.